Post number 2, September 8th, 2010. So I'm gonna post about what happened and link the video footage, but last night everything got too real for me. I think I'm done messing around with this. I passed out pretty much immediately after making that thread, but last night that Elegy of Emptiness statue, I had a dream about it. I dreamed that it was following around in my dream, that I'd be minding my own business, and when I'd feel my neck hairs stand up on end, I would turn around and that thing, that horrible lifeless statue, would be staring at me with those empty eyes right at me, merely inches away. In my dream, I remember calling it Ben, and never before had I had a dream where I could remember so vividly, but the important thing is that I did get some sleep, I suppose. Today, putting off playing the game as long as I could, I drove back up to that neighborhood to see if the old man was back. As I expected, the car was still gone and no one was home. As I walked back to my car, the man next door, mowing the grass, killed the power to his lawnmower and asked me if I was looking for someone. I told him that I was looking to talk to the old man that lived here, to which he told me what I already knew. He was moving. So I tried a different avenue. I asked if the old man had any family or relatives I could talk to. I discovered that the old man had never been married, nor did he have any children or grandchildren through adoption. Starting to become worried, I asked one final question, one that I should have asked from the beginning. Who is Ben? The man's expression turned grim, and I learned that 4 doors down, around 8 years ago on April 23rd, the man informed me that it was the same day as his anniversary. That's how he knew the specific date. There was an accident with a young boy named Ben in the neighborhood shortly after his parents moved, and despite any further attempts to talk to the man to get more information, he wouldn't divulge anything else. I went back to playing again. I loaded up the game and immediately I jumped at the title screen where the mask flies by. The sound that played was not the normal whoosh sound. It was something much more and higher pitched. I pressed start, bracing for the worst, but just like 2 months ago, the files "Your Turn" and "Ben" were displayed. The truth be told, when I looked at the Ben file earlier, it seems to fluctuate between displaying the owl statue save and not. I brought up the Ben file, hesitated for a moment, noticing that the stats were not the same as the original a couple days ago. It seemed like they had already accomplished the Stone Tower Temple this time. Summoning my courage, I selected it. Immediately I was thrust into complete chaos, not sure. Oh, sure enough, I was outside the Stone Temple, but that's about all that was expected. The zone itself was not called the Stone Tower Temple, but rather Stone. And immediately, a dialogue box of complete gibberish that I couldn't make out greeted me. Link's body was distorted, his back was cocked violently to the side, where his posture was permanently disfigured. Link's expression was dull, almost monotonous. He had an expression on his face that I didn't recognize before. It was a blank look, as if he was dead. As Link stood there, his body spasmed irregularly back and forth. I examined what had become of my avatar, and I noticed that I had a C button item that I'd never seen before. Some kind of note, but pressing it did nothing. Sounds played back and forth that I didn't recognize from the game, almost demonic in nature. There was some kind of high-pitched yip, or some kind of laugh or something that played in the background. I had all of 2 minutes to take in the environment before another one of those Eulogy of Emptiness statues was summoned, and immediately after I was cut into the dawn of a new day's screen. Except this time it was without the I subtext. I was a Deku scrib. Difficult to see. In Clocktown. This scene would normally play after the first time you travel back in time. Tattle would say, "Well, what just happened?" It's as if everything has, but instead of saying started over, she finished her remark in broken text as the laugh of the happy mask salesman played in the background. I was put back in control of my character, but from a messed up camera angle. I was looking from behind the door to the clock tower, watching my avatar run around as a Deku Scrub, seeing how I really had no place to go because I couldn't see anything. I begrudgingly went inside the door. There I was greeted by the happy mask salesman, who simply told me, "You've been met with a terrible fate, haven't you?" Before the screen whited out. I was in Termina Field as a human again. I might as well have not been playing the game anymore. I was being wrapped around and there was no sign of a day clock or anything. It took a moment to get my bearings as I looked around the field, and immediately I could tell that this was not normal. There were no enemies, and a twisted version of the Happy Mask Salesman theme was playing. I decided to run towards Woodfall before I noticed a gathering of 3 figures off to the side, one of them being Epona. As I approached them, to my horror, I saw the Happy Mask Salesman, Skull Kid, and the Elegy of Emptiness statue just standing there. I figured maybe they were bugged out, but by now I told myself I knew I should know better. Nevertheless, I approached them carefully and found that Skull Kid was playing some kind of idle animation on loop. Same with Epona, and the Elegy of Emptiness statue was doing what it had been doing all along, just standing there eerily. It was the Happy Mask Salesman that scared me more profoundly than the other two. He, too, was idle, wearing a terrible grin. But wherever I moved, his head slowly turned and followed me. I had not engaged in any dialogue with him, nor was I in combat with him. Yet his head still continued to follow my movements. Reminded of my first encounter with Skull Kid on top of Clock Tower, I pulled out my ocarina, to which the game played the ding sound when you were supposed to play the ocarina, and I tried a song I hadn't played yet. The Happy Mask Salesman own song, and the song had been played on loop back in Day 4, the Song of Healing. I finished playing the song, and as I did, an ear-piercing shriek blasted on my TV. The sky immediately started flashing the Happy Mask Salesman twisted theme song sped up, intensifying the fear inside me, and Link exploded into flames and died. 3 figures stayed, lit up during my burning death scene as they watched my lifeless body burn. I can't describe to you how sudden and terrifying the transition from eerie to terror it is. You're going to have to watch the video if you want to see it firsthand. That same fear caused me to lose sleep 2 days ago started to grip me again as I met with the text, "You've met with a terrible fate, haven't you?" for the 3rd time. There has to be some kind of meaning behind that. I had a little time to ponder as I was immediately given another small cutscene of transforming into Zora, and I found myself in Great Temple Bay, hesitant but curious to see what the game had in store for me. I slowly made my way towards the beach where I found Epona. I wondered why the game had decided to put me here, or to put her here. Was the game implying she was supposed to get a drink? Unable to take off the mask, I decided that riding the steed wasn't the reason she was placed there. Suddenly, I realized that Epona kept neighing, and the way she was angled made it look like she was trying to signal me to point off in the distance. It was a hunch, but I dove into Great Bay and started swimming. Sure enough, I almost missed it. I found something at the bottom of the ocean. One last Elegy of Emptiness statue. I went down to examine it, and suddenly my Zora started doing a choking animation. I had never seen a Zora do before, which didn't even make sense because Zoras can breathe underwater. Regardless, my character choked to death and I died. And again, the statue was the only thing that was highlighted in my death. I didn't respawn this time. I was booted back to the main menu as if I restarted the console. The start screen was before me. I knew the only reason why it put me there was because the save files had changed again. Taking a deep breath, I pressed start and I was right. New save files told me about Ben. Now it was making sense that why the statue appeared when I tried to go to the laundry pool. It must have anticipated how I would have tried to escape day 4 Clocktown. The two saves told me his fate. I suspected Ben was dead. He had drowned. The game obviously isn't through with me. It taunts me with the new save files. It wants me to keep playing. It wants me to go further, but I'm done with this. I'm not touching any more of the files. This is already way too horrifying for me, and I can't even believe in the paranormal, but I'm running out of explanations. Why would someone send me this message? I don't understand it. I just get too depressed thinking about this. The footage is up here for those who want to see it and try and analyze it. Maybe there's some kind of coded message in the gibberish or something? Symbolic in what I went through? I'm just too emotionally and mentally drained to mess with it anymore. Are you ready?
Yes.
Hold on, I'm gonna lower the ambience music here so we can get a better... Oh, I think I need to zoom out for it. Day 1, day 2. That's weird. That's fine.
Bah. That's weird. Oh no.
Oh, chicks.
What? Oh,
There they are.
where's Skull Kid? Oh, he's there. so cool. That's weird. That's weird. Don't stay there.
I'm enjoying the view. I mean, obviously, what else would you do? Keep an eye out for the statue. There he is. He's right here waiting for us. Alright, so that's the video.
What?
Bend round. Okie dokie. I feel like that's a good place to end, don't you?